Hey everybody, Ben here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up for yourself each and every day. We're going to get into an emotion here that we might be struggling with, looking for a way to navigate our way through it. We got 3 cards here. We have fake. We got lost and exhausted. I don't know if we're talking about somebody else or ourselves. That word's pretty strong if we would call ourselves that, but not being ourselves, not being authentic, which exactly would give us this feeling. We would be lost and we would be exhausted from continuously trying to be something that we're not. When we're in a position of trying to fit in or be accepted or received, or what started that? We saw something external of us that looked like they were getting what we want or experiencing something that we would want, some sort of attention or success. Well, I'll just be more like them. And by doing so, the more we try, the more we become exhausted and lost. We are being pulled further and further away from our true self. We're wearing a mask, we're changing ourselves so much to be received somehow. What is that we're seeking? The opposite of fake is real. The opposite of lost is lead. The opposite of exhausted is vibrant. All of these come hand in hand with being authentic. When we're not trying to be something, we just are. We are real. There's no resistance. We take charge. We make our own decisions. We present ourselves as we desire, not for a reward. We're not doing anything on purpose. We are just being. And through all that, we're very vibrant. That energy, that charisma, or whatever this other group of individuals or just individual in general that we may have been trying to reflect, the way that they're shining, or the attention that they're getting, or just their energy in general is very magnetic because they're in their real place. They are who they are. And by doing so, when we do that for ourselves, we indirectly get whatever it is that we were chasing after. We're just being ourselves. Sure, there can be people that are fake and they know all the right things to say and all the right things to do and how to present themselves. And that's all surface level. That's flash. That isn't real. There's nothing more to them. And the successes or the attention is very short-lived. We can think of models and people online that appear away, and all we see is that picture. Sure, some are AI or NPCs or not real, even in person, but the other majority, there is a real person in there, and they have their own struggles too. And until we start to take people down from this pedestal and stop chasing what we think is great or amazing, we leave this space and we're going back to being ourselves and leading with that. Not leading with this need for the external validation, leading with our own internal validation. And indirectly, you get exactly what you wanted and more. The Emperor. Discipline. When we look in the chaos, in the opposite, this is this. This is a facade. This is a mask. We're so consumed and worried about what everybody else thinks or what they, how we are received, and we do things chasing that. When we are it, we are firm. We are in charge of how we allow things to affect us. And we're not chasing this fabricated acceptance or experience, because that is fake. When we present ourselves this way, everything returned to us is fake. I often say, let's say we had a self-esteem issue, and not knocking anybody for this, but it's the easiest example. We're presenting ourselves, hey, look at me, here's a picture online, and everybody's commenting on how attractive we look, or everybody wants us. Well, that person that's doing that, and deep down inside they're screaming and crying because they're hurt so much somehow, but I present myself this way. Well, that's not the true me right now, because I'm struggling inside, and all that attention and love and everything is fake, because it's not going to feel anything in here. It's not going to lift me up. It's not going to make everything go away, because it's not true. Four of Swords reversed. Restlessness. Looking at the original card upright, he's resting. He put his sword down. He's done fighting. We are continuously fighting for this approval or acceptance or attention or status or whatever it may be. And it is taking a huge toll on us, because we're not getting anywhere, because we're not being ourselves. We're trying to be something that we see out there that looks like it's rewarding, and it's not us. Got the Last Judgment, self-evaluation. Really reflecting here, looking at ourselves, looking at our situation. If we want to get to this place, and we want to be, leading in our life and not chasing, we need to look at what's the goal here. Why am I presenting myself this way? What am I seeking? What's coming from this? What do I think is the reward or the success or the status? What emotion is tied to that? And let's go back to a complex or a wound that we created around it, that we can't be this to get that we have to be this. When we work backwards, we unearth that issue, that struggle that we have, and we can work through that, or we can at least acknowledge it and know why we were doing that, and instead walk into that. Feeling a little frustration or anger around this. King of Swords. Rational with our thoughts, going back to self-evaluation. I don't know what it's like for other people to do it. Maybe it's really difficult and uncomfortable, which I would imagine to an extent. But what is it that we're presenting ourselves this way for? That's the real question. And then we can work backwards from there and see why we can't get there. Sun reverse, self-doubt. We can't lead when we don't believe in ourselves. We don't believe we're worthy enough. We don't believe we're valuable. We don't believe we bring anything to the table. So much comparison, especially nowadays with the internet. If you think back in the day, it just would have been people in your school growing up, or people at your work, or your neighbors, or your friends. It wasn't multiplied by hundreds of thousands of millions. And we're seeing that as value. And at times, I'm not placing value on numbers or likes or views or whatever it may be, or what somebody has. How do we know that they're not fake? Maybe it's just all facade. It's an entertainment. It's a show. When we get all that kind of attention, is it true? If we're presenting ourselves this way, it can't be. When we're in this place, This can't be turned off. This energy exists. It is so pure when we are authentic. We all have value. It's just we don't think we do. Knight of Wands reversed. Fleeting interests. We are in this exhausted space. This is right underneath this restlessness. We're constantly trying to get to something, and that's where we gotta walk backwards. What am I after here? What is it? And what would that even feel like? If I had that, what would I feel? Would I feel good enough? Would I feel respected? Would I feel special? But if I get that, if I got to that space and I was being this, it wouldn't be real. I promise you that. It's not real because I don't believe it. If we don't believe that we're already here, nothing anybody can say is gonna make it okay. Because I'm looking for them out there to prove to me, aka validate, reflect back that I am something. And that's right here. That's on my skin. That's not in my chest. That's on my skin. And they're out there. It's all it can do. It comes and it touches my skin. It doesn't go in, and I don't all of a sudden embody this with this validation, with this proof. Because I don't believe it. I'm looking for them to prove to me that it's true. But it's not true. Because I don't believe it. And anything they say is not going to make it okay because I still don't believe it. It's where our identity comes in. When we believe something, it is our identity. And if we're in a place that we're not real, we're lost, we're exhausted, they're not going to make it better. Got the Six of Swords reversed. Hesitance. I always look at the Six of Swords that they're leaving with nothing. They have nothing. And they're moving forward. We're grabbing onto things. We're holding on to things as value. That's all external. When they left to that brighter future in the original card, they didn't have anything. They had themselves. And that's where we make this. That's where we are real. And if people don't value you as who you are, your work, that's ridiculous. There shouldn't be in our experience is what I'm getting at. When we look at the person that is super attractive and they present themselves that way, great, they're attractive, wonderful. But what's inside? Is there anything in there? Can they write a sentence? Can they have a conversation? Do they have an opinion, or do they just do what everybody else does because they can't make up their own mind because they're so worried about what people are going to think if I had a different opinion, or I like this kind of food, or whatever it is? I feel out of it. We got the King of Wands. Creative vision. Doing you. Not worrying about what people think, how it's going to reflect on us. When we're in this place, like I said, this energy, this charismaticness is just vibrating. It's so pure. We don't have to have all these bells and whistles and all this attention. It is magnetic. It is energy. It will move rooms because we're not chasing everybody else's approval or attention. And I'm not saying we're doing it crazily or being destructive with it. We're just being ourselves. And I know in the beginning, if we're in a place like this, we're seeking something in the external, And by doing all this inside, it all unfolds on its own. And you have such a strong foundation then that we don't need that out there. But it comes anyway. And you won't know what to do with it. Excuse me. I'm going to leave this here. If it resonated, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe. And I will talk to you all later.